Okay, we should be live.
Yeah, it says live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Let you do the intro one.
Yes. So we'll see if some other people kind of join in, but just thought we'd go through some different pictures, because I always see a lot of people putting up different, pictures, but they don't really, excuse me, talk too much about them or try to decode them in any way. So I thought it would be a good idea to maybe try that.
Yeah, you got to read into it more than just an image. There's a story there to be decoded.
Yeah. So just go through some of these pictures. And give a little bit of take on them. So let's start here.
That's a nice pic. What a beauty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to go for it or me?
No, you can go ahead on this one for sure.
Okay, on the top we've got two particle accelerators, the Eye of Horus, both facing inwards, which means one's spiraling clockwise and one's spiraling anti-clockwise, or counterclockwise, as you guys would say. So that's telling you that it can switch modes, but it seems whichever angel technology it's relating to, that one there definitely can switch modes, clockwise or counterclockwise rotation. You know, they're like we see with the winds. Like a tornado, it'll rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. That's what that's actually relating to. Not that it's designed for making tornadoes, but they're just a byproduct of the process, really. So what you're looking at is two particle accelerators at the top, or it could be one that can switch roles. It's possibly just one there, and it can reverse looking at it because it's only depicting one angel. The angel itself depicts as a particle accelerator. And that one looks like it can project. It's only got the two wings. It's kind of telling me that one there is something to do with one of the major luminaries. If you remember with the seraphims, it had 6 wings. Two covered the eyes and 2 covered the feet. In other words, it wasn't projecting a luminary and it was stationary. That's why it was covering the feet. This one looks like a projector. That's what I'm looking at there. It's definitely a projector type technology. You can project the luminaries. I think it represents 4 wings, because if you look at the wings, they look like 2 large ones and 2 smaller ones on the inside. If you look at them, that's what we've seen with the other ones that project the luminary, isn't it? It's like 4 wings involved, not 6 or not 2. It seems to be 4 for a luminary.
And each wing, each feather, as it's portrayed, has a direction.
You can see that. You can see the hands on the inside there, like it's referenced in scripture as well. It looks like human hands inside the wing. Yeah, lovely depiction, that.
And it looks like Jesus on the cross still. A lot of these do.
Yeah, we've got to Jesus as being a representation of on the sun projector. That's what I would, I've always said that I think the Son of God is Jesus. It means S-U-N. I don't know where the O came from, but to me it means the sun in the sky of God. This is the creation. It's technological creation. The 144,000 sealed in scriptures, they're sealed down below in sarcophagi because of the process and how they work, being particle accelerators and producing radioactive materials, which in scripture they call hot coals, it has to be contained, because if there's a situation where we get a fallen angel, in other words, it goes offline, it malfunctions, it breaks down, it's already concealed in a sarcophagus to contain the unfolding disaster, as exactly what we see with our nuclear power plants today. It's the same process. When their accelerators fail, they have to build a sarcophagi around the nuclear disaster to contain it in modern times. And this is exactly the same process in the underworld. That's why they're sealed below. In the event of a problem, it's already sealed and it should not cause any more problems. The only thing you will see is a luminary in the sky will go offline. Or the sun might jump across part of the sky if it's one of the ones used for guidance. So that's a lot of information for one image, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So, next one of these temples.
Right, there's a lot of information on that one. Look at that.
Yeah.
About getting close-ups and knowing who the characters are on the temples, we're going to be guessing a bit on this one. But same
Yeah,
again, it is representing characters in the underworld, or not so much characters, but technologies. You know, we've been given for a long time. Humans have been given technology, sex, and character and personifications for whatever reason. It may be to do with the male, female, positive, negative, clockwise, anti-clockwise kind of methods why they portray humans, and well, not so much humans, but the characters. Yeah, it's a lovely sight, that, isn't it? Amazing build. Look at the detail on that.
oh yeah, and it has all of the little representations of all the different gods on it. And on the top, see how it's all pointing? It's portraying that these things are projecting up.
There's the seven major luminaries at the top. Can you see them? Them seven things at the top. I think they represent the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
Yep.
7 major luminaries.
As well as the top of it, in a way, reminds me of how the Ark of the Covenant's set up. See how the two are arcing in at the top and the luminaries are in the center, and that's how they say the Ark works. The energy comes from the center.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Let me just say a quick hi to Sandra, Jason, Hazmat, Blood, Eternal.
Throat Jason.
I don't know how you lost your wrench, FPV, but you did, so I gave it back. Don't know what happened. Maybe when I cleaned it out, I might have accidentally clicked you. I don't know. I didn't mean to.
Hello, Jason, Sandra, Hazmat. Who else is in there? John. Dee. Lev. Hello, guys.
Hello,
yeah,
Lev.
Just a quick screen by one.
Yeah.
And why not, eh? Why not?
This one's just weird because it just looks like a bunch of squiggly lines. But when I found it under searching for angelic languages. Yeah. So then I started to kind of look at it like different signals and frequencies, directions.
It doesn't mean anything to me, but it's definitely some kind of language or information, isn't it?
Yeah. That someone knew at one time, otherwise it wouldn't have been recorded, you know? We just look at it and see squiggly lines.
Yeah. You may come across them on sacred geometry, that's when you start to see the connections. It's all right seeing it like that, but if you've seen these same squiggles on geometry somewhere, then yeah, there's a deeper story there to look at.
This one I found, it's just different different symbology and meanings. I won't go too much into it, but the Merkaba's there. It's all geometry.
That one down on the left side, that looks like part of our grid. You see it below the diamond?
A lot of the time.
Material
Yes.
generation through the interaction of two opposing principles. Right there, that's telling you some of the workings right there, isn't it?
It's good stuff.
Generation through the interaction of two opposing principles. Very nice wording, because that's what we see on our grid, basically.
Yeah. Hello, Jamie. Yep. A lot of these, you know. But yeah, it's all here again with this one. Can you see my mouse? Two intermingling ternaries.
Yeah.
You know, this is all part of the grid.
Yeah. That's like what
Sacred
we see at the
geometry.
center of our grid, isn't it? You've got
Exactly.
the one on the left or being on the outside, and that star one that you just pointed out, that's kind of in the center. Yeah, so it's relating to the grid, basically, parts of the grid. Spiritual quaternary in the universe. That one with the circle with the plus sign in it, yeah.
This one, yep.
Yeah, some good word in there, and it is pretty much relevant to the grid.
Exactly.
And then I don't think we'll ever decode it all, but you can see it relates to this grid clearly, a lot of that.
Yeah, it grabbed me in the beginning because it was all the sacred geometry and different, you know, signs. And then when you start to read them, they're very interesting. It would take time to study it a bit, but sure, it all relates.
Those in the know exactly what they all mean.
Exactly.
Nice, yeah, very nice.
Hello, Jennifer. And then here's that famous picture of Venus.
Oh, it's a beauty, that, isn't it?
Yeah, had to throw that one in there when we're talking about angels and projections and stuff.
Now remember, guys, these are showing up because of chemtrails now. How far away can Venus be for chemtrails to be affecting it? Not that far, is it, when you think about that? You know, we haven't got chemtrails and barium blowing out into space, have we? Illuminating Venus, God knows how many miles away they say it is, but clearly it's not that far away if it's being illuminated like that by chemtrails. Because certain chemicals that they're spraying have caused these to be visible, especially barium. Barium is designed to illuminate a geomagnetic field line from pole to pole. In other words, any electromagnetic kind of, so you know, what can I word this? The electromagnetic projections is what we call these. Well, I'll go a bit further. I call them radioactive electromagnetic start again. Radioactive electromagnetic projections is the proper wording I would give to these luminaries.
That's a mouthful to say.
Keep up. As I learn things, I change it more. But yeah, radioactive electromagnetic projections from the underworld, basically that's obviously from Venus's projector. If this is a bit over the top for you, you'd have to look into more of our research to see how we come to these conclusions on it being technology. But basically, when the globe failed, what we did was throw everything away. We went back to what the ancients were taught and teaching, and that's where you find the secrets. You know, the underworld starts coming to life. Everywhere you look in the ancients' depictions, the underworld's very much playing a very important part in it. And then you start to see these big beings and technologies and God knows what else they're trying to depict. You know, you're looking at a picture of what they represented, what they saw in the underworld. And as we're proving with our research, slowly but surely, it's coming together that it's projections technology from the underworld. Particle accelerators are angels, basically.
Like this one. All of this detail involved in these. This one's more cartoonal looking, but this stone tablet exists. So, you know.
Yeah, that's the main one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the yeah.
Any mandala's the same as well. You start looking at mandalas and it's depicting an north, south, east, west, something in the center, things beyond the outside of this realm. Yeah. This is doing exactly the same. If you look at the center of the grid, you've got that X-shaped kind of thing in the center, the cross shape. Yeah. What we would call, say, Brahma at the center, these things around it, and then your cardinal directions, the north, south, east, west, there's locations out there.
Yeah. all those, and then we've got our secondary directions, and it has the 8. So
And
this piece,
obviously the calendar and everything's included in this,
yes,
and a lot of other events that we're not sure of.
just so everybody understands, this right here, it would just be the center of our world. That's right, that where the angel, the 8 of them, the 8 spokes come out on our map.
Yeah. The outer circle of that would represent the outside, the farthest halo on the outside on our grid, basically.
Yeah. 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them, just like on the map. So,
yeah, 6 halos.
Mm-hmm.
But we do think there was more. Remember now, fallen angels. If an angel falls, something in the sky has to get switched off, basically. So there possibly was more than what you're seeing here at one point in time. The fallen angels mean things in the sky have been taken offline, something's gone wrong. Ooh, see that language there? I've seen this before on a rock, somewhat not far from where I live. I can't remember the name of this language now, but I've seen it on a rock.
Yeah, I found it when I was looking up angelic languages as well. So a lot of these that I have found, I was actually searching for angelic languages when I ran across them. So I saved them. Didn't know what I was going to use them for, but why not just show them? Somebody knows what this stuff means. Somebody does.
Jason just guessed it there, or knew it. Organ language. It's Celtic and Druids.
Oh,
The
cool.
location I found it was near a Roman fort. A big slab of stone with these on near a Roman fort. But I also know a farmer that's got a slab that he dug up on his land, and it's got the same kind of writing on. Now the British Museum wanted it off this farmer. They asked him if they could have it, and he said no, he's keeping it. Because apparently the farmer's got the right to keep it. They can't just demand it as theirs. Farmer gets the last say, so that's good news. So they can't just steal it off him and hide it. The farmer, I know he's going to put it above his doorway. So yeah, it looked pretty cool. That. If he's found it on a mound on his land, and it's suggesting there could be something below there.
Yeah,
interesting. It might not be a burial ground. It might be pointing at technology in Celtic language.
Well, now there's this key, so you could go on an adventure and you can't see what it says.
Yeah, I've got it in the mobile phone, the alphabet for it. I've just never been back to the guy's house to decode it for him. But yeah, it's on my mobile phone. We've already saved that. That's how we recognised it.
Very cool. I didn't even know that. See,
and organ language.
So that's really neat that I just saved it because I found it very interesting.
Jason seems to know it all there. He's just the bottom letters are tied to natural forces like the sea. That'd be earth, well, I would say that probably represents earth, air, fire, water at the bottom then.
Shoot. I moved it.
Your elements, basic elements.
Oh.
Ooh, look at all those.
Yeah.
It's a lot to decode.
This one, I believe, was when I searched Enochian angelic languages. And this picture popped up. And this one, I just, I bet Jason has a lot of information about this one too. Because when I showed it to him, he was like, oh my gosh, like all the sigils, and multiples of them put together and very complex.
Yeah. All to do with the alchemy of the technology, I would say, the different mixtures and things you can go through, like the sun's got the element of gold, moon would be in silver. I think it'll play a role in the alchemy of the technology, what we're looking at here. If you look at the second row from the bottom, and it's the fourth one from the right, and you see the electrical connections right there, and it's got a heart shape right in the middle.
This one?
The right two. Go right two more.
What row down?
No, to the right. You'll see this the heart one? There. Next one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah,
this one.
See the electrical connections on the left and right?
Oh, yeah, I sure do, yeah.
Yeah, and the heart.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about this one because I see it here too.
Same there, yeah, electrical connection going on. But it looks like alchemy and technology kind of processing. This will definitely be related to the projection technology what you're looking at here. Now, I'm not gonna claim I understand what any of it's doing, but I can see certain parts of it jumping out that that identify technology.
And for all we know, and this is completely theoretical, these could be the actual pieces and kind of what they look like and how they work that are below. Back then, people obviously saw this stuff because they can describe it with such detail, and we don't recognize it because that's not how we were taught.
Yeah.
We're confused.
Alchemy was banned in the 1800s as well, so it pretty much says there people obviously practiced it up until the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was banned. So,
and after
I think
that,
they were like electroplating blank coins with fake gold and silver. That's probably why it got banned.
yeah.
Other than that, I can't decode any more of that without some serious research into. I mean, I've seen these before. When I first started doing this research, I was looking at the angelic language, and I've seen these, but it always led to a place in Greece, and then it was closed doors. You couldn't find any information out about what you were looking at, so you can't tell if it's real or just depictions. But for it to keep popping up and trace back to a university in Greece, I would still say it's got merit. That it pretty much relates to how things work. As we can see, all this has been hidden.
Yeah.
Once you got a globe and outer space, all this now becomes relevant. But when you debunk the globe and outer space, then all this becomes very relevant. You have to go back and look at it.
Yep. And we'll turn over to the Christians. Okay. So again, this depiction right here, all the angels being projected above in layers.
Yeah, you can see the wings there. I think the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Or ducks, hard to tell from here.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
definitely
they depict a lot like this, don't they? They always put humans in there or babies with wings as depictions of angels.
Yeah, and if you look at it, it's definitely got three of the three of the higher up halos. Like when you show the 3D version of the map, that's what the top of this looks like.
And look at what they're looking at in the bottom scene. That could easily be a sarcophagi with the souls inside. The souls actually being the projections. The spirit, the soul, that is the projection in the sky, the luminary. That they're what you would call a spirit or the projection. The scarab beetle in Egyptian hieroglyphs, it's the same thing. That represents the projection. So yeah, that could represent the souls in the sarcophagi, and above is the actual projection of what's in the sarcophagi below. As above, so below. You've got to keep remembering that, guys. It's trying to tell you right there, what you're seeing in the sky is taking place below.
Do you know the origin of this photo? Because I do not.
No,
and I apologize.
No
when I find some of these photos, I'm just searching for different phrases like angels and angelic language and different ones that definitely grab my interest pop up that I can see what they're saying, so therefore I save them and we talk about it like now. A lot of these FPV may or may not have even seen.
I haven't seen this one before. No.
Yeah. That's another reason I want to do this, was get some of this other stuff out there. There's a lot of good information. What you're looking at, it's easy. So this is just the center of the one we were just looking at.
Yeah, well, the men's depicted it lovely. They did.
Yeah.
A lot of their codexes still remain undecoded, but it's pretty much going to tell you the same as every other culture's been telling you. All the same story of the same underworld, just localized depictions of how it's been told.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to word it. You look at the ones from the Far East, it's different people in the depictions, like Asian type people, but it's still the same underworld and technologies it's portraying. Shiva being a perfect example. You can't see a particle accelerator on Shiva, you're not looking. It's as easy as that.
Yeah. Yeah. All of these agents are kind of saying the same thing. So then, of course, we've got the famous arc.
Yeah, I still haven't talked about this, have I? The arc. I was supposed to do it in one of the last presentations. I'll do a quick run through now if you want.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, right. If you remember from the 12 gates when we basically broke down how the particle accelerator works and how it creates radioactive material from the accelerator, which, as Ezekiel in scripture described, the wheel within a wheel. So he's trying to describe a particle accelerator there. And the eyes round about it are the ejection ports for the radioactive matter that gets ejected. And the hot coals ejected are the radioactive materials that's being created. It's an element to matter technology. This technology by design can create two forms of energy that I can see. It can produce electricity and radioactive materials, which we know has got the same kind of high voltages as the equipment that generated it. You know, it can power nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers for a very long time. So there's no shortage of electricity or radioactive materials. Now, what you're looking at here, the Ark of the Covenant, run by Scripture, it would be, to me, the best word I can give this is a portable power generator. You would put your hot coals in there and the arcing would appear across the top, across the wings. The positive and negative are the two angels, one on each side. So you've got a mobile generator, basically, a mobile power unit you can take around. That's why it's got the handle, you know, so you can carry it around. You've got mobile power. It's just a mobile power supply, is what it's trying to tell you. Now, you look at I think there was a war. I can't remember who was warring, but one of these was won in a war. And the people that won this particular battle, they took it back to their city. They opened it for all the locals to look at. Now, after a short time, all these people became very ill. Now, if you're looking at radioactive materials, I would not be surprised they became very ill because, you know, it's okay in small doses. I don't think you're supposed to be handling it or you know, be playing around with it like they probably were. So eventually, that many people became ill. They sent it back. They sent it back to the people that they basically won it from. They says, okay, we don't want it. You can have it back. You know, they thought it was cursed, but it's just because they were playing around with the power source inside, really. So, you know, it's telling you right there, you know, it has to be handled correctly. You can't just play around with this technology. You know, it's nuclear technology you're playing with, basically. But, you know, we call it nuclear in our age, radioactive, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. The atomic age, if you look at our 12 gates video, you will see how Tesla's work kind of propelled this research further for humanity. But, you know, Tesla wanted to give it to the world for free. He knew what it was. He wanted to give the world free electricity. He knew how it worked. And, you know, that's when he was shut down and it all got privatized and monetized and hidden. But that's all what it all relates to. It's been an ongoing process of man reverse engineering the technologies in the underworld. And looking at these kind of depictions, you know, clearly we were taught at one point in our history how to harness it and use it. We were taught this. You can't get away from that. You know, geoglyphs, petroglyphs, hieroglyphs. You'll find it in scriptures if you read them or decode them correctly. You're going to see the same thing we're seeing. It's everyone knew how it worked. And that seems, how did we forget? You know, everyone seems to have got how it worked. That's what I find strange. You know, you'll see people. That chap that puts videos out, he's just put a new one out. Him over in India. I think he's in India. He goes around all these old temples. You know, this is a guy these temples are local to him, and he doesn't know what they mean. You think, how can we not know what these things used to mean? You know, these are local to your area. Why are we not seeing what these mean anymore? How did we forget? Something's happened in our history where we've completely forgot our past and how things were. You know, the only thing I can put it down to one is when the globe was invented, you know, and obviously they were pushing the globe, and over time and wars and book burnings, everything's been forgotten. So, you know, now it's a case of rediscovering what was once known. that's where we're at. I probably went off topic a bit there, but it's a lot to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah, his channel's Phenomenal Travels.
That's yeah.
He's not. I mean, he just goes firsthand. He does some really good videos. I'm not sure, CD, if that's the one from the Vatican. Again, I just search different topics and download, save the pictures to.
Well, this will be one of many, guys. This was taught to everyone in those times. It's not unique to the Vatican or the Middle East or anywhere. Everywhere around the world was being taught how this worked. Yeah. The Vatican is just one piece of many others. It's just another small piece of the jigsaw.
Here's another one, and it looks like it has that same odd language markings.
Yeah. You may never decode all that, them languages. I don't have to look at the actual writing. I look at the images portrayed, and I can decode it looking at the images. Top right, see the image at the top right?
Yeah.
It's like a star shape on a shield. I've seen that before in, I think it's Sumerian. This could be a Sumerian piece, this. That thing there at the top, that, to me, that's another depiction of an accelerator. On that little partial image you can see on the top right, it's like a star on a shield. With it's got like waveforms coming out of it. I think that's a depiction of an accelerator.
Yeah. The whole point, really, is they're all telling the same story.
Yeah.
They really are. They're all telling the same story, that this is how it worked, and they all knew it.
Everyone knew it, it's just too much that you can't hide all this. It's just too much.
We don't know it, but we're learning. Now.
It's got the accelerator in his hand. See the circle, the hoop? That represents an accelerator.
See all the eyes?
Oh yeah, all the eyes round about it. The whole depiction has an accelerator, basically. I can imagine an accelerator in the underworld. It's also probably got a, like what you might call a gate guardian or a figurine beside it made out of solid gold. It's going to have something like that telling you what it is and what its roles is. Perfect examples of them is like the Tutankhamun sarcophagus. You have a look at that. That's got 6 wings on. That's a representation of a seraphim. In other words, another technology in the underworld. God, they've hidden a lot. They really have.
Yeah. And is this? Look at his weird long fingers and the snake.
Yeah.
Didn't you talk about those before? Like.
Oh yeah, the snake. The snake represents the radioactive material forming. And it just keeps, because it's a free energy source. It'll just keep burning and burning away, kind of thing. I'm not going to pretend to know how it works, the technology, but not the technology, but how it burns. But it basically means it's rejuvenate itself over and over, like what you've seen in the 12 Gates representation of the sun, when the sun had to go through its cleaning cycle and then it rejuvenated new fuel. It's the same kind of process. Yeah, it'll start all over again. So it's a repeating cycle, in other words. That's what it means, a repeating over and over cycle.
Yep, again, with the temple, all the depictions around it. Don't think this is the same one. No, it's not.
Temples like that will represent, like Shiva or one of the other ones, depending where it is, which depictions are on it. They're all depicting various what we would call deities, but they're not really deities. It's angel technology in the underworld.
Yep.
That'll represent one of those technologies down below. You notice the bull, the ram. The bull. I can't tell what the other creatures are, but it looks like a bull there.
And these look like rams, the small ones, because see their horns, how they're. And the ones sitting down look like bulls, which was.
That's Horus. Yeah, that'll be depicting one of the technologies. Like Shiva depicts one. This will be another. I can't remember all their deities. But the primary 8 on our grid that we show in the center, that's what the lines that go to the center. There's 8 of them. This could represent one of those.
Right. Okay, this one's just a Chinese. Which I haven't really looked a lot into the Chinese. It was just one I saved. They're different. What their stuff means, I guess. It's kind of blurry. But this was the language that looked like it was just on that Sumerian tablet. It's not really a good picture. But it doesn't look like the same markings that were just on that Sumerian, stone or Babylonian. Jason said Sumerian or Babylonian for that old one. But yeah, again, energy. This is, to me, it looks like pieces. There's arrows, directional markers. This is how it works. This is how it flows.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pull anything out of that. It's just another language telling the same story to me now.
It is.
It is. I need to see the depictions, really. The geoglyphs. Well, look at that one.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. Now you're back.
I'm pretty sure you can see the electrical process going on there with them cables that actually lead up to those. That could actually represent two large bulbs, light bulbs. Or it's got, if those are snakes in that chamber, then it's trying to generate radioactive materials and trap them in some kind of a container. This could be roughly how your Baghdad batteries are made and charged. Although people call them Baghdad batteries, I would imagine in those times it wasn't just Baghdad that was using batteries. Most people in the world probably knew how to use batteries. And it's this technology, the radioactive materials that's used to for them. It's a mobile power source, isn't it?
Yeah.
And look at that piece down the center of it. It's like a pneumatic ram or something there. But when you look at it, I think it represents an electrical process going on, the bit below it, with the 4 bars and the rod going through them. Yeah, again, if they're supposed to be snakes, that's definitely radioactive material. So yeah, that's probably a Baghdad battery. Well, I'm saying Baghdad, but any kind of battery, it's a radioactive battery. Basically, what's powering nuclear aircraft carriers and submarines.
Yeah. And again, the shape of the Ark of the Covenant, how they come up, they touch, all this stuff is the same.
Yeah, it's showing you there how it's made, basically. Yeah, clever stuff. It shows you mankind's been harnessing these energies and technologies for quite some time. For it to be depicted like that, they must have known in those times how to harness it and utilize it.
This next one is a line of all the different gods that were depicted to relate with the different luminaries. Sun and moon are here.
Yeah.
But if we look at all the way they look, they all have the same stuff going on. The projectors coming out of their heads. They all have their little staffs or their little, what is that? The ankh? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Which are also portrayed in some pictures as the little bag they carry around.
Yeah, all them there'll probably be various parts of the sun projector or any quick luminary. They're all going to have the same kind of projection system, and all those will depict various parts of the projector. That's what you're looking at. The ones with the thing above the heads, the projection, I should say.
Hmm.
They're the ones that's the part that projects, and these are the to me these are components of the sun projector and other projectors. If if any of them if any others represent like the moon or any other luminary. But yeah, these are various components on the sun projector. The anibus is the one that shuts it down, basically. Remember the eater of the ass wording? There's the ass right there. Yeah, there's some very bad decodings we noticed, and we've actually found better ways to word it now as well. Because if you look at anibus, it's got that down. I think it represents that one because that's like an ass, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's at the West Gate. So basically, in the decoding of the 12 gates one was reading from, it worded that role as the eater of the ass.
We
And
changed it.
one didn't want to add that part. So but
I
after
left it
one had
out.
done the presentation, I realised what it was actually telling you. It really means it's cleaning the rear of the machine. So a better decoding of it would mean this is this is the process that cleans the rear of the sun projector, is what it was really trying to tell you. It was just worded badly and wrong by someone, possibly on purpose. Yeah, I'll put it like I'll call it the eater of the ass. I won't want to repeat that again, will they? But yeah, it's the cleaning, a part of the cleaning cycle of the sun projector when it's in the west getting shut down is what it was really telling you.
Yeah, I left that part out. I actually called it the ah because that was the alternate name it was giving. But ah was translating out to the eater of the ass, and yeah. But decoded it sounds a lot better. A lot
Yeah,
better.
it's cleaning the rear of the sun projector because there is a cleaning cycle due to the build-up of radioactive materials that's obviously being ejected from the eyes round about it. So over time, it's getting all this radioactive material produced, and it has to dispose of it, which is obviously why it uses the lava tubes and the volcanoes. They're part of the cleaning process. Remember, the lake of fire to us now is a radioactive lake of produced matter by this technology. That's how we're looking at it now.
Yeah.
Ooh, haven't seen that one before. One.
Yeah, this one was a building that they had drawn these sigils on. I believe they were Enochian,
Oh,
which I think some of them are similar to that angelic language if you look at them.
yeah. Not that we're going to decode much of them, but more of the same and the same processes or alchemy involved in that technology. I always say alchemy because it's not like we said about the gold being the sun's elements. That obviously various luminaries are using different elements, and obviously by design these technologies can create different elements depending on their configuration, frequencies, etc., etc. There's a lot to look at and decode. We'll probably never get all that decoding, but it doesn't matter to us as long as we can decode what the technology is and does. That's the most important part, which is what
But
we do. I think we're doing a great job of that now. How we can relate technology to the luminaries.
with a bunch of minds together, things could become decoded because it's just impossible with just two people to decode
Well,
everything.
not only that, there might be people out there can decode them, but they haven't got a clue what it's supposed to be related to. And if they look at our work,
Exactly.
they're going to put two and two together.
Exactly. And that's good to do these kind of things because then the information can at least get out there and maybe the right person will find it. All it takes is the right person with the right information, you know, to be able to relate it to what they already know. This is
Yeah.
another temple, you know.
More depictions of the chariot there. The chariot's basically one of the projectors. The chariot moving around in the underworld, projecting.
Yep. Yep. Got an accelerator here, the wheel,
Yeah, on the
turning it,
chariot.
turning it. Got your gods, your Shivas.
Yeah, more depictions of the underworld, isn't it? And it's working.
Yeah.
That's what we noticed, guys. Your tribal leaders, your chiefs, your elders, your kings, queens, royals. In times of old, they used to take great pride in depicting how this world works. Those days are long gone, but you know all these temples and sacred geometry sites and everything still exist. We don't know for long, but you can imagine the people trying to hide this is going to destroy these over time, more and more. So you never click on how it works. Ooh, there's an easy one.
Yep. Yep. Which you
Yeah.
decoded this one before, but if you want to go quickly
Okay. Do you
through
want to, they can't see my mouse, so use yours one and point at
uh
the line going straight up towards the center of the eyeball.
Okay, this one. Oh no,
Right, that
this one.
yeah, that one there would be the high frequency injection.
Okay, and then this
The
one.
one to the left is the particle accelerator, hence it having a little curve to it.
Right
That's how you
here.
for, that's how you force the right hand rule, which you seen Roger talking about. This, you know, it's got to have a little curve there because that's what forces the right hand rule and accelerates the light. It's accelerating light into that chamber. What you're looking at where the eye is, that's a magnetic chamber, possibly with the element of gold in there, and they're bombarding it with a square wave generator and the high frequency injection, basically.
Yep.
The raised eyebrow above all that is the bump in the ether caused by the particle acceleration. In other words, it's the same again, the right hand rules causing that bump in the ether. This is the secrets of creation. That bump there represents it's the right hand rule. It's accelerating light, in other words. That's very much part of creation. The bird on the left represents the high frequency injection. And the snake on the right represents the matter that's materializing before your very eyes. This is the element to matter conversion of gold, say, because it's got gold in that chamber. And this snake coming out is representative of the radioactive particles it's producing. What you saw Roger see in his particle accelerator, those little particles coming out at the end of it. Obviously, this is on a bigger scale because it's going to just keep pouring out and out by the look of that. And that's what the snake represents. It's the produced matter, element to matter conversion right there. And that covers the eye of Horus. Unless you want to add some more to that one?
Nope. Perfect.
Happy with that, yeah?
Yep. And I like it because it was a little gift. See his eyeball blinking on and off.
See that? You got it right there. His little wink, was he?
This one,
This is Ezekiel's wheel, someone
yes.
else's depiction of what it means. Now, they've got it wrong. They're assuming straight away it's vehicles that fly in the sky. But when you look at Mauro Biglino's decodings, this is a chap who worked at the Vatican translating Old Testament. Now he tells you in his video, angels are technology, angels are robots. He's basically telling you, and he said in there, Yahweh, who jumped on the back of the sun projector basically and rode along on the vehicle. It said he flew. Now that's where these depictions are coming from. People think he meant he flew in the sky, but he didn't fly in the sky because when you think about it, it's someone jumping on the back of a vehicle and flying along the ground. Basically, just picture a horse jumping on the back of a horse. They class that as flying because your feet are on the ground. So I can see how people's got confused with flying in the sky. It's nothing to do with flying in the sky. It just rode on the back of the sun projector as it was moving along, basically. It sounds easy to do. Just go down there and jump on it, guys, and get a free ride. But that's basically what someone's done, and that's what's been recorded in scripture. And these are various depictions of what they think that they were trying to portray, but it was not flying in the sky. And it's the sun projector, basically. Well, pick a projector, there's more than the sun. But someone rode along on the back of one. That's where that depiction came from. And this is someone, if you look at that, the one in the center is like a wheel in a wheel. That's what this is someone trying to figure out what Ezekiel was trying to describe. And the eyes round about it. But if you look at it, it's clearly a particle accelerator. Take the being that's on it, this might not actually be, depicting a human. It could be one of these characters that we've mentioned. It could just be, like a figurine on the sun projector, basically like a teddy bear on the front of your car. For better, for want of better words, but yeah, it's a depiction of a character on the sun projector. Okay, one, or do you want to add some more to that?
Nope, that was perfect. Yep.
The alphabet, huh?
Uh-huh.
More stuff to learn.
Mallet. So yeah, this one it depicted with their names with the symbols. So as well as looking again like circuit boards.
Yeah, it looks like some of them ones that we've seen inside the angelic ones with the circles.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like some kind of a different language of them kind of depictions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Different processes again. Or it could be just, well, it says the alphabet. What does it mean? It might just be an alphabet.
It could be.
And it just looks similar to what we've been looking at.
Yep, but I like the way they all look like circuit boards.
Malakim, Jason said.
Yeah.
Look at the guy right in front of you, the largest one you can see. What's that circle behind his head, guys? The halo. These are the halos you're seeing in the sky. That's a depiction of the angel in the underworld and the halo in the sky behind it.
Yeah.
In my opinion. That's what it's basically telling you.
I agree.
It always depicts humans now, doesn't it? And why, I don't know. I don't know why they personified it as humans that way. It might, there might be a character, like I said before, the character on the sun projector, it may well look like a human.
We got our 6 layers going up, just like the map.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, so you can relate that to events in different layers in the heavens. Yeah, there's a story in every church, it seems, isn't there? On every church roof or cathedral roof, it'll be telling you the story. Just you're not decoding what it's really telling you.
Yep, that's true. Hello, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Yep, again, different depictions, different languages.
Yeah. Probably not. Yeah, it's like an alphabet again, isn't it? Learning your words and what each letter means, which is good because you can. If you want to go decoding things further, like looking at text, that's the way to do it. But you'd have to be careful because mainstream have put in place different wording to throw you off what it's really telling you. This is happening in scriptures and it's happening in geopetro and hieroglyphs as well. Because I've never seen anyone decode the Eye of Horus as a particle accelerator. And they wouldn't, would they? They're not going to tell you how it works.
Jason said it's Hebrew.
Hebrew, yep. There's some fish if we ever need trout. Yeah, same again. No, you're going to have to decode it. And, if things haven't been tampered with and changed, it will jump out straight at you. But it's telling you, oh, there's a beauty. Look at that. There's the Milky Way, guys. That, the goddess Nut, the female that's bending over the top of them all, that represents the Milky Way. That's lovely, that. I'm just doing a bit on the Milky Way.
Yeah, so we won't get too much into that one. We'll wait.
Yeah.
But it's still all telling the same story, all this stuff.
It's a depiction of the world and the underworld and the heavens. The 3 worlds are basically the heavens, the underworld, and the human world.
Yeah,
that's what you're looking at.
These I found were different totems. So we've got the pentagram.
That middle one jumps right out at me.
Well, that's the Tree of Life totem. So.
Yeah. And you've got your 7 deities on there. Well, your 7 major luminaries. See them at the top?
Yes.
7 golden candlesticks, basically.
Yeah. So the one on the left is the pentagram magic totem. The Tree of Life is in the middle, and the Throne of Life magic totem is on the right.
Ooh, you got the words for them.
Yeah, they're down at the bottom. They're hard to see, but they're there.
The eye at the top, on the top right there, that might actually represent a particle accelerator again. If you see an eye shape like that with a dot in the center and it's got what looks like eyelashes, consider them not being as eyelashes, but the radioactive material has been ejected from the eyes round about it. It's a particle accelerator, in other words.
Yep.
The tree of life. There's a lot of alchemy involved in that tree of life. I would recommend going to our 12 Gates video. There's a bit more on that in there. You know, I can't break down the center part of that tree of life, what it actually means, because I think it's all the various processes involved that, you know, create electricity and radioactive materials. It's a technical breakdown of what's going on in these accelerators, I think. And again, you know, you're stuck for words and language, how to decode what it's telling you, because they'll run into a brick wall at Greece again or somewhere. It's just
And
the information's very restricted on that.
I've tried to place that symbol of the tree of life over the map in different ways. I just am not sure how it would lie, you know. I know the center would be center, but where does it go from there? You know, I think maybe it might be all the way from the micro to the macro. Like it just gets bigger and bigger.
That's if you overlay it on a map. You know, I'm not thinking of overlaying on a map. I'm thinking of it somewhere at the East Gate, and this is where they're plugging in the batteries to charge them. You remember that Tree of Life depiction where you got the two characters each side with the what looks like acorns? And they're basically charging them up off this process. But to me, it's part of the electrical or chemical process going on that's generating the power needed. Yep, again, it needs more deeper decodings, which I don't think we'll get the access to what they actually mean. But that's right. I'm pretty sure that's what it relates to.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to place it, you know, but that might be why. Doesn't belong.
yeah, they'll hide that very well.
And if it does, we just can't see it. It's definitely the last one I found. I think this might be the last one coming up, but it's just a decipher. So it has the different planets in the center, and then I'm not real sure. It has names and numbers. It's just some kind of a decoder.
The names of various angels involved there.
Yeah.
Let's look at those. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Various names for various angels doing various roles.
Yep. The cross in the middle, we all know what that is.
Each one of them seems, well, each one of the, look at the luminaries, each one of them seems to be in charge of 7 other processes. Or it could actually mean the 7 processes involved in each part of the projector of that luminary.
Yep. Well, it's definitely our 7. We've got our centerpiece.
They all begin with the letter B. Put it on the inside.
I guess they do. I don't know.
Yeah, I've used that image before in the first video I made.
Yeah.
But no, I can't decode it all. But I do think it relates to various names they've applied to various technologies and that relate to that luminary.
Yeah.
It may very well be a breakdown of each luminary's projector. You know, I can't decode it, what the names mean. I think it's personifying various parts of the projector.
Cool. Well, that's all I have. So.
Not a bad decoding. And a nice chat and look at things.
It was pretty good. So, yeah, I guess I will thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate it.
Jason says they were the names of various angels. I would agree, or various parts to do with various projectors, basically. When I say projector, it still means an angel or particle accelerator.
Yeah, so there's still a lot to look at, but understanding the basics of it helps so that you can understand how to kind of take what path to take when you're decoding things in the future.
Yeah, other options, you know. Look at it how we do, and you'll start seeing a the real picture forming as far as I'm concerned. You know, without the construct and how it works, scripture, geopetro and hieroglyphs and sacred geometries, they become meaningless if you haven't got anything you can relate them to. But now we have, you know, we're now applying it to how the technology works in the underworld, and it's making perfect sense.
Yep, I agree. So, all right, I'm going to end it. Say bye to everybody. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, cheers everyone. Thanks for the support and comments and chat, everyone.
And have a good day.
Yeah, have a beaut day. See you later.
See ya.